Good afternoon, namaste, and Jai Shri Krishna. Nice to have you join us today. We'll get started in a couple of minutes just so that we can get everybody to log on and hope that you guys can all hear me. I am Versha Patel, residing in San Diego, California, and welcome to the Bindas Ranch. For those of you that are not familiar with the San Diego area, I live in Escondido, which is about 30 minutes away from San Diego. And today we're going to be making traditional Methi. And I would like to go ahead and introduce you to my assistants today. Here is my beautiful daughter-in-law, Tejal. She's from Florida, and she's married to my son, Versha. So she's going to be assisting me today in stirring the Methi, because the timing is going to be very, very crucial, and so she's going to be assisting me. We have Pooja, who is in her final semester at USD Law here in San Diego, and she's going to be behind the camera and assisting and making sure that everything gets focused in and you guys can see exactly what's going on.
If you guys can't see anything or hear anything, please just type in the comments. Thanks.
And I would like to introduce you also to my lovely youngest daughter. This is Arti. She is in her first year at USD Law School. And so she's going to be also standing by and being on the laptop, answering any questions or comments that you may have. So feel free to go ahead and type away. And if I don't get to it, most definitely I will respond to you at a later time, and anytime you wish, you're welcome to privately message me as well, and I'll be happy to help you.
Yes, we'd love to hear from you. I will be on the laptop, and I will be answering and giving my mom your questions nice and live.
I wanted to take this opportunity to say thank you to Naina Ben, better known as Nancy of LPS, our current president. I thank you, Nancy Ben, for everything that you have done for our LPS Samaj while being president, especially given the current situation of being in lockdown and the pandemic that we've been facing for going on almost a year now in a couple of weeks. And what you've done for the community by bringing these live posts to Facebook has been just a game changer. Everybody has, issues going on at home. There have been very, very sad events taking place over the last year. We've had a lot of untimely passings of loved ones in the community, in our Samaj, as well as the other Samajes as well. And it's just absolutely heartbreaking to see that day in, day out. And then also the horrific weather conditions that our Samaj and community has been facing in Texas and the Northeast. Those are real harsh times that people are going through right now. And what I feel when I post my recipes or pictures of my food and so forth, for me, that just helps bring everybody together. It's a moment that you can just kind of escape the harsh realities of time and join the community in something that we all traditionally love and enjoy, whether you're at Laris in India or in your own homes cooking with your family. It's just a little escape, and then to enjoy that special home cooked meal or snack or sweet or whatever it may be. It's something that brings the whole family together, and that's very, very important to me, which is one of the reasons why I wanted to introduce you to my three lovely daughters, who during this past year have really, really grown in the kitchen, and I've loved having them here. And I've been teaching them different things, different skills. They've asked me a lot of questions, and I've loved that. So, we're going to share more of that. But we'll start, moving along with this recipe right now. I'll introduce you to the ingredients, but before I do that, I'll have Tejal start the stove so we can start melting the ghee. And I just want to introduce you to this lovely memory book that my daughters gifted me for Christmas. So the best memories are made when we are gathered around our kitchen table. Our special cookbook, established March 13th, 2019. That's my birthday, March 13th. And it's when we moved into our ranch in 2019. And since then, I have been playing a big role in the kitchen. And I've really tremendously enjoyed being here and writing recipes, coming up with new techniques to help our next generation appreciate and love cooking as much as I do. And so I have the Methi recipe. Nancy Ben will be sharing it with you on LPS site once this segment is over as well, so that you can all, enjoy making it as well. So again, to introduce you to the ingredients, we have here 3 cups of laddu besan. Traditionally, I understand that it's made from the besan flour, urad flour, gonolot. They make the ghani with the milk. I've tried several different recipes, but I found this to be the most efficient and one that I've really enjoyed as well. So we are going to use a laddu besan. This is toasted coconut. It's slightly sweetened. I was able to find this on Amazon, and it's also been a favorite, me adding this to the actual methi itself. This is almond flour, half a cup. We have half a cup of chopped up dates. We have methi powder and ginger powder here. And we have confectioner's sugar. I like to use confectioner's sugar because it mixes very well with the actual besan itself once it's cooked. But you can substitute for any other sugars that you wish as well. And I'll go over that in a little while as well. And we have for garnishing some ilchi powder and some sliced almonds as well. How's that coming along? Yeah, you can go ahead and turn it on. And if you want to go ahead and start the stopwatch right there. What I prefer to do is start the stopwatch because I know that when I'm at about a 25-minute to 30-minute mark, that my methi should be complete by that time. And so I found that to be very useful. Now I've done a lot of variations of this particular recipe. This is probably, I think, my 4th and final version of it, which I found to be the most easiest, most efficient way to make this. It's a very simplified process. And a big shout out to my mom, Padma Ben Kusumben Patel from Rampara. I hope she's able to log on and join us today. She has inspired me to cook. And methi is my father's favorite. And I always aspired to make methi like my mom for my father. And last year when they visited me and with mom's techniques, I made the methi. It was the asre technique, which a lot of our moms actually use. Is just that kind of like, oh, asre karwano apre, And I was like, Mom, I can't cook asre, but she's never going to come out consistently. And so I took her technique, wrote the recipe, perfected the recipe, and as I was making batches and batches of methi over the last couple of months, I was able to gift it to a lot of friends here locally, and they tremendously enjoyed it. And as they were getting back to me, that I would love your recipe. I would love to learn how to make this. It just inspired me more and more to go ahead and do something like this so that I could share this fabulous recipe with the rest of you as well. And when my father tasted my methi and said, it's just like your mom's, that was just wonderful to me, to know that I was able to make methi like her and my father enjoyed it. This is almost melted, so we're going to go ahead and add the 3 cups of the besan to here. And we'll go ahead and raise the flame a little bit more, Dejo. A little bit more, probably like a medium level. The technique here is just incorporating the besan and the ghee to the right consistency where it will set. That's really essentially the perfect way to cook this, and to cook any mithai, in fact. And just to let you know that I am using laddu besan over here, but you can change this to anything you wish to. It doesn't have to be just laddu besan. It could be just besan by itself. You can make ghani with milk added to it. You can use urad flour, you could use gram flour, you could use almond flour. A friend recently told me that she had toasted quinoa and then she ground it, so she used quinoa flour. You can use oatmeal flour. Essentially, this is a protein snack. So anything that you put into it is not going to be wrong. What it is just going to be delicious at the end, and it's going to be a nice sweet treat that your family can enjoy. Great, and we'll go ahead and raise the heat up a little bit. I'm also going to at this time add half a cup of almond flour. We'll stir that in. So basically what we're doing now is cooking these flours to the point where they get golden. And typically the mark is about 25 minutes to 30 minutes. Don't fret about the fact that it's too loose right now, because everything will all bind together once the rest of the ingredients are added. And in case they're not, the beauty of this recipe is that you can always add a little bit more ghee, or you can add a little bit more almond flour to get it to the right level. Perfect. And so we'll cook it on high for a little bit, continuously stirring. Because this is the part that takes the longest, but we want to make sure that it sets correctly as well. And so we are going to do this for a good 10 minutes. And once it starts bubbling, Dajon, we can go ahead and lower the heat. Okay. I'll let you know when we're ready to do that. Okay. So let me show you a couple of the ingredients that I've used. The laddu besan itself can be bought at the Indian store. It's just simply marked laddu besan. Again, this will stop us having to make the ghani with the milk, which is very time consuming. I understand that it's the traditional way of doing things, but I have found that getting a bag of laddu besan is really, really awesome. And it makes the methi really delicious. Today, for the sugar itself, I'm using confectioner's sugar. I like confectioner's sugar because it mixes and binds very well towards the end when we're done. Now, if you are diabetic or you're controlling your sugar intake, you can also substitute it with powdered monk fruit sugar. This is 0 net carbs, 0 glycemic, 0 calorie. It's 1-to-1 sugar replacement, and it's keto friendly as well. So I've started quite a few baking projects using this as well. It's not going to taste exactly like sugar, but it's a very, very awesome substitute that you can use. I've also looked into using coconut sugar or cane sugar or brown sugar. So you can kind of mix that up if you like. Now, my mom traditionally used to take the coconut, she used to toast it, and she would sit there and cut little slivers of toasted coconut in her original recipe. It's very time consuming, and yes, it's absolutely delicious. So I found a great substitute. This is toasted coconut. I was able to find this on Amazon. It's slightly sweet, and it just has that perfect crunch, and that also is a big time saver. So you can use, any type of coconut that you wish to use, desiccated. You can toast it yourself. And I found that this toasted coconut is a great brand, and look how much I've used already. And it was a 2-pound bag, so I really enjoyed using this. These delicious dates over here are organic Mejdal dates. I picked this package up from Costco most recently, and you really don't have to grind it because it's so soft that it will just melt right in in the mixture very quickly when we do add it. This was the almond flour. You could do a lot of baking with almond flour. It's great to use for anything you wish to make, whether it is an Indian sweet or any kind of baking as well. There's just ground ilchi here, some slivered almonds, and then the methi powder and ginger powder you can buy also from the local Indian store. Now, some people do like to add gandura powder. Perfectly fine. Some people use gundar. You can use pretty much any ingredients you wish to include in your recipe. There's no right or wrong answer to this. This is just my technique that I wish to share with you, and hopefully I can inspire you to try and make this at home as well. And it's looking good. See, the bubbling is coming from the coarse chickpea flour. Typically, if you did make the gunny with the milk, it would also bubble just in this particular fashion. So we're at like almost a 9-minute mark now, which we'll continue doing this for another 10 minutes. So at the 20-minute mark, 25-minute mark that we go ahead and incorporate the rest of the ingredients. And then we look at the consistency. Like I said, the technique to this, to do it absolutely perfect, is the consistency of the actual basin itself. Thank you, Tejal, for being our stirrer today. You're doing a great job. I would like to take this opportunity to talk about how I got into cooking. One, you know, you're eating every day, 3 meals a day, and you're surrounded by it. You know, growing up in England, everybody used to cook everything themselves, unlike today where we have caterers, you know, cooking for us and we can outsource. Those were the times when everybody would get together and cook at home. We made our own papris, we made our own papers at home, all from scratch. And, you know, our moms went through a lot of time and a lot of effort putting these meals together for us, not only in England, but in India, in Africa, everywhere. They used to do it with whatever means they had, buying the ingredients, coming up with these recipes. And unlike us today, where we have YouTube and Pinterest and Google, where we can look up all these fabulous recipes and just follow the instructions, they didn't have that. So imagine how they learned. They learned by watching their moms cook. And they perfected the taste. Even though they follow the Asram method, their taste is absolutely phenomenal. My mom's food is exceptionally delicious. My children have enjoyed it. I've enjoyed it growing up. And I wanted to get to that level where someone else would eat my food and be able to taste how delicious it was. And then it came a matter of, okay, writing down the recipe and so forth, perfecting it and so forth, have the family critique it, and it just became a passion of mine. And I think a breakthrough for me was probably about 10 years ago. I think it's the first thing that I made or attempted to make, and it was papri no lot. So papri no lot, I used to be dependent on family or friends to bring me papri no lot, or I would enjoy it when I used to go visit my mom or my aunt. And then there was a time when I was with my Masi's Naso, Hindu Masi, and she gave me the recipe of papri no lot. I thought that was absolutely revolutionary to see and understand how easy it was, and she had the recipe. So I made it, and it turned out absolutely perfect. And I thought, something I thought that was so complicated to make was really essentially very, very easy to make. And I thought to myself, how many women in their 40s, in their late 30s would enjoy traditional papri no lot at home if it's that easy to make? So I started a Facebook album and I put my paprinolone recipe on the album almost about 10 years ago. And I made it in the Italy stand by making little donuts, and it was just amazing how many comments and likes I got, and it made me feel really good that I was able to inspire so many women like myself to make paprinolone, and they've been enjoying it since then, and now it's become like a household favorite as well. And you know, I'm so much more confident that, you know, if I can make that, I can pretty much make anything. So I started asking my mom recipes and so forth, and she'd give me just an Astor method, but I'm like, no. Tell me by cups, tell me by bowl. I need some sort of guideline here. And so I would have her give it to me in measurements of cups and teaspoons and tablespoons and so forth. I wrote it down. I tried the recipe, I critiqued the recipe myself, and then actually perfected that recipe, and therefore I started sharing it on Facebook, and I have several different albums that I started back then, just inspiring and motivating people that, you know, these traditional dishes are very, very easy to make. So I wanted to just, you know, highlight my aunt. And then also growing up, I have two wonderful aunts. I would love to mention them here, Sola Mami and Miru Mami. They had delis in Watsonville and the Scotts Valley, Santa Cruz area. And my mammies would run a traditional deli, making sandwiches and all the good home wholesome American foods and so forth. And what they actually also did was used to make these Punjabi curries and samosa and batakawara. They'd actually sell it to their customers who absolutely enjoyed it. And, you know, visiting them in my late 30s and seeing what they did in the deli and how their customers just completely enjoyed these delicious meals was just amazing to me. And they have inspired me to cook over the years as well, that they took something that was not complicated, they made it, they served it to their customers, and you know, everybody enjoyed. So they have been a big inspiration to me as well, and they make beautiful, delicious foods as well. I think we can go ahead and raise that temperature up a little bit over here. It's okay, it's coming along very nicely. This is just a small batch that we've actually made, but I do know that a lot of people do make, you know, large batches, because Methi, as most of you know, is a very healthy snack to eat during the winter times. It warms up your body. It's good for you. Eating the methi, the actual methi powder that's in methi, which gives it its name, is very good for you. Health-wise, it warms up your body. So I know that a lot of our older generation really traditionally enjoy their methi, and so they make it as a winter snack that they keep on hand, and in the morning when they have their breakfast, they will eat a little square of methi or magaj along with their churro and cha, and they really enjoy it. And I wanted to give a big shout out today because I know they're watching, and that is to Tejo's grandmas, Sitaba and Lakshmiba, who are watching us live today from Florida, and seeing Tejo, their granddaughter, making methi. So I know it's going to make them very proud as well, that she's making something very traditional. And the nice thing about making small batches is that, you know, you can make it as you need, and it's also a great gift item as well. And you see how it's kind of browning now? We can go ahead and look at beautiful color, right? And that lets us know that it's not going to be kachu. It can be stored at room temperature. It does not need to be refrigerated. And now we're getting that beautiful golden color of the basin. They're at 17 minutes now, so we will still keep going till about 25 minutes. And what I found is that the reason why I say that you can make muggaj from the same exact recipe is that at about a 25-minute mark, all you have to do is just add a little bit of ilchi powder and sugar. And you cook it for another 5 minutes and you have muggage. It's that simple. And then if you don't want to make muggage, then you add the rest of the ingredients to make methi. And so it's a very versatile recipe that I found as well. So you can enjoy both muggage and methi. And I found it to be a great gift item as well, especially over winter. And I know that from the feedback that I've gotten that everybody has been enjoying it. And then when you do bite into it, you do taste that gunny feeling that people traditionally enjoy. You do get it from the laddu basin itself. You also get it from a little slight crunch from the coconut. And if you don't like it crunchy like that, then you can make it with just regular besan, not the coarse chickpea, just regular besan, and it'll have that soft consistency, and you'll be perfectly fine making it that way too. Oh, that looks beautiful. And again, once we add all the rest of the ingredients, everything should bind very, very nicely. For any reason, if it seems too soft, go ahead and add some extra almond flour, because almond flour cooks a lot faster than the besan does. So you'll get to your consistency, and I'll show you with the spatula itself the consistency that it should be. Perfect. You want me to give you a break a little bit and I can go ahead and stir? Sure. Thank you so much. Got a good arm workout right there. So I'm going to put my girls on the spot for a little bit here. We're going to go ahead and lower this. Digital, over the last year, what would you say has been your favorite recipe to learn, or traditional Gujarati item? What have you enjoyed learning?
Well, Darbat is one of my favorites. It always has been. So learning Dar, having a recipe to follow has been really, really nice. I feel confident that I will be able to repeat the recipe, even independent of mom being able to make it for the family, and it just being very delicious. So that's definitely probably one of my favorites.
Excellent, good job. And that's exactly what we did. Digital asked me to go ahead and said, Mom, can you go ahead and write down a base recipe for me? And so I did. I mean, up till now, I really didn't have a recipe, but I put one together, and as we made it together, we critiqued it, and then we made some adjustments, and now we have the perfect dal recipe that we enjoy in our household. Obviously, everybody's household has, different styles of cooking or different spice levels that they enjoy. So it's just a matter of personal preference, but I would definitely encourage anybody that's wanting to learn to cook to go ahead and write down a base recipe, make it, critique it, ask the family what they think about it, and then before you know it, you'll have a recipe book like we do, and more and more traditional recipes will enter into that book, so it'll be really good. I think we're really perfectly golden over here right now, so I would put this on simmer, and we're going to go ahead and start adding the dates. Ahead and the dates. No, you go ahead and keep stirring that as well, Rich. Yeah. Go ahead and incorporate the methi powder and the ginger powder right over here as well. I'm going to go ahead, and since it's quite warm, I'm going to go ahead and that beautiful brown color. I don't want it to darken too much, so I'm going to go ahead and turn the stove off at this time. And again, how dark you like it is completely up to you. Some people have it very, very dark, but they, incorporate other ingredients to get it to that consistency. I've only used in this recipe 2 teaspoons of methi powder and ginger powder. Now, if you like it more curry, then you can absolutely add as more of the methi powder that you like. Like I said, you can do gantora, you can do sunt, you could do gundar. There's a lot of different ingredients that you can add. Excellent, that's looking good. I'm gonna go ahead, we're gonna add the sugar last because that will be very, very easy to incorporate. It does look a little soft to me, so I'm gonna go ahead and, let's see that tablespoon, I'm gonna add a little bit more almond flour to it just to kind of get it to the consistency that I'm looking for. Okay, let's incorporate that and let's see how we do. The basin is very, very hot, so it's actually cooking all of those ingredients as well. We're at the 23-minute mark right now. But you can go on the heat level, you can go high to low to medium. There's no set temperature that you need to have it at. You pretty much have to just look at it and see the consistency that it's becoming. And the color will indicate to you whether you should go higher or lower, you know, on your flame as well. That's perfect. That's looking really, really good.
Smells great.
Do you like Methi, Pooja?
Yeah.
You know, it's an acquired taste. It really is an acquired taste. There's some people who do enjoy it and some people not so much. But this is kind of very close to the consistency that we're looking at. It needs to be this well incorporated. Otherwise, you know, you don't want it to crumble once it sets. That's looking really great. Now, some people go ahead and let this cool quite a bit before they incorporate the sugar. I like to add my sugar, you know, towards the very end because it's warm and it'll just help melt the sugar in the actual mixture itself. And so I prefer to add the sugar at the very end as opposed to letting it cool and then making it more, you know, harder for it to melt, especially if you're using like a cane sugar. Thank you, Arti. And so if you do this, you can kind of see the ghee towards the top as well. And we are almost done. I will go ahead and add a little bit of ilchi to the mixture itself. And this is 1 cup of confectioner's sugar. So Tejal, if you want to go ahead and get that mixed in, please. Here, if you find, once you add the sugar, again, it's getting the consistency correct. So it feels too dry, you can always add a teaspoon or 2 of the ghee to really, really help incorporate that. In fact, that's exactly what we'll do at this point. Did you want to pass that to me? I'll put it in there for you. And because our mixture is very hot, it'll melt that ghee right away. The recipe will say to have 1.5 cups of ghee and then a little bit of extra on the side as well. Okay, I'm going to help you with that.
I think you can never have enough ghee. So when in doubt, you just keep on adding ghee.
Well, I don't know about that either. You know, some people like their methi and muggage with like a couple of millimeters of ghee on top. That's definitely just a preference. For me, I don't really like eating anything with too much ghee. And so I just like my consistency to be just right. And again, you know, I think we're pretty much almost there now. We're at the 26-minute mark. Typically within 30 minutes, you should be done. Because I had the heat up a little bit higher than normal today, it did cook rather quickly. So you can actually cook it at a more of a medium base and that'll be fine. Because once it heats up, it goes pretty fast, as you can see. And then you don't want to ruin your batch of methi by having it, you know, burn at all. So that looks great. Arts, can you go ahead and bring over the hot plate and then the pan itself? Thank you. All right, how's that looking? Looks beautiful. Excellent. All right, so let's go ahead and with that spoon right there. Let's bring it over here, Digital. Just set it over here on the hot plate. Now I'll bring over the kimchi and almonds for garnishment. You can use pizza if you like, or nothing at all. Go ahead and just ladle it here. I'm using like a little baking pan right over here. It will settle. And then what I did is put some wax paper in here because it makes it easier. I've seen ladies, you know, really go at it with a double or try to get it out of that tight. I figured if you put some wax paper down, it makes it so much easier that once it sets, you can set it in the refrigerator and you can put it in the refrigerator and it'll set within about an hour, or you can leave it overnight. No, that's get the small spoon just to go ahead and fill these. And so some people just leave it overnight and let it set that way. Now, this is like one of my favorite parts, doing this. Just, you know, tapping it down, it'll set the methi, and you see how the ghee's coming to the top right here? That's exactly how it should be.
So satisfying.
There you go. You do the same thing with the muggage, and you know, leaving it overnight, or if you want to set it in the refrigerator for about an hour or so, all you have to do is lift up the paper, use a nice knife, and you can go ahead and chop it up to whatever size that you like. Do this with a caddy, a glass pan, any kind of a baking dish. It's the same method. Okay, yeah, that's why we use a little muffin tin over here, because it'll be the only thing that will hold these little paper containers in place, otherwise it'll go all over the place. And that's fine, you can go ahead and just go up to about 6, so you can just show everybody. Okay. And then we'll finish that off afterwards. Perfect. Sounds good. And so what I found is that, you know, these will come out to be really nice, and a great gift idea if you want to, you know, make it for friends or family. And go ahead and sprinkle some ilchi on top, and then take some of these slivered almonds and just kind of sprinkle them on top as well. And so the same thing I do with these little babies as well, these little mini methis. And it's just, you know, nice to give to somebody, or, you know, on the go, pack it for your lunch and eat it just like you would like a cupcake. It's very satisfying, and I totally enjoy it. There you go. See that? How perfect that is. And again, well, like I said, it's all about the consistency. Will get you the perfect methi or muggage. And then you want to go ahead and sprinkle a little bit of ilchi on that. There we go. Excellent. We can keep this one plain. Okay, so here we are. And can you pass me that remote? Perfect. This is a batch that I made a couple of days ago. It's muggage over here, methi over here. You see that this is a little bit darker than this particular batch. That's, you know, strictly up to you how well you'd like to have it made. But from the 3 cups of laddu besan and half a cup, and we did incorporate a little bit more of the almond butter, this is how much it yielded, which is a lot. And I made my squares very small and very easily edible as well. Would you like to try one? Sure. I
don't mind being a taste tester at all.
And
I love sweets, so.
And I do too. And so I totally enjoy this. Just, you know, when you're on the go and you just want a quick snack but you really don't know what to eat, just have one of these. And because it's protein, it does fill you up, and, you know, it's very delicious and it's healthy at the same time. Go for it.
Very good.
You like it?
Yeah, delicious.
Excellent. Good. So we hope that you will try. And again, if there's anything you'd like to ask me, don't hesitate to message me directly, and I'll be happy to answer your questions, or even have a phone conversation as well. Once again, want to thank Rena and Nancy of LPS of USA for inviting me to do this Facebook Live today of our very traditional Methi recipe. And also want to announce that Nancy is going to have some live chats coming up really soon, talking about different topics. It's something that's going to be really exciting and very innovative, to bring our community together to talk about subjects that typically don't get discussed out there, in the open. So she's going to be coming up with a platform of topics. Hope everybody will stay safe during this pandemic. We're not out of the woods yet, even though you have your vaccines and so forth, still have to play it safe, and wish everybody good health, lots and lots of blessings and happiness and peace for you and your families for the rest of this year. I look forward to bonding with you, continue posting recipes that I think you may enjoy out there. And if there's anything that you like, to see me make or share with you that I may have experienced, then don't hesitate to let me know. Namaste, Jai Shri Krishna to everybody of the LPS Samaj. It's been a true pleasure being here with you today. And thank you for taking the time this afternoon to join me and my beautiful daughters in making this traditional recipe. Thank you.